Today I want to talk about something serious that has the potential to be uncomfortable, and that is to talk about life. But I can't talk about life without talking about death. Now, death is that topic that seems to freak everybody out. But I'm proposing that recognizing that time is short, recognizing that we have limited time, is what can bring meaning to our life. And to use this, to start, I want to use a metaphor or kind of an analogy here to think of life like it is a hourglass. And the sand in the bottom represents the life that you've already lived. That is what represents the past. The top, what's in the top chamber, that represents the future. That is the time you have left. And at the neck, where it flows down, that's where the present happens. The present moment is what turns the future into the past. So if you think about this, you've got only so much life in the top chamber. And the bottom chamber represents the life that you've lived. That's where you've got all your lessons and all your memories. And the present moment, that's the only thing that we actually experience. If you imagine a plane running through there, that's all you get to experience. The past only exists in your mind as memories and lessons. The future only exists in your mind as anticipation. So this is the hourglass, life as an hourglass metaphor. Now, if we change our perspective and instead of calling this the hourglass, we're going to call this the life glass because of that metaphor that we use. So instead of the past, this represents the life that you've lived. The top is your remaining life. That represents the life that you have left. And of course, the present moment is right there in the middle. Now, to bring this home, to really show you what this looks like, you can think about a newborn. A newborn's life glass, all of the life is going to be in the top. Very little life, or none, in the bottom when they first start. All of the sand, all of the stuff is in the top chamber. Once you get to midlife, you've got about 50-50. So you got some life remaining, you got some life left up in that upper chamber, and you've got some life that you've lived. You've got some experience under your belt down at the bottom. And then, of course, as you get closer to the end of your life, most of the top chamber is empty, and you've got a lot of experience. You have a lot of life that you've lived down in the bottom there. So that's how you can think of this. When you are first born, all of your sand is in the top. As you live, it starts to equal out, and then you eventually run out of time at the end of the life, or at the end of the sand. And what that means is that, remember our flow chart here, we've got different time depending on where we're at. To hit that point home, when you're born, most of it's in the top, and then towards the end of your life, most of it's in the bottom. Now, unfortunately, we don't know how much time is left in the top. We can't know how much time is left in the top. So we've got, remember that life that you've lived is in the bottom, and the life that you've got left is in the top, but it's almost like it's covered up by something I call the uncertainty curtain. So all that you know is the life that you've lived. You've got those lessons, of course. You've got the present moment right at the bottom of the curtain, but we don't know how much time is left. We don't know how much time is in that top chamber. We can't know how much time is in that top chamber. But have you thought about what happens? I'm proposing that this is probably good because there are some people where they do get a glimpse, a tiny glimpse of the time that they have left. And this might look like a near-death experience. Well, maybe not a near-death experience, but some kind of a diagnosis. If I get a diagnosis and my doctor tells me I've got 24 hours to live or I got 6 months to live, I've taken the uncertainty curtain up and I've seen the sand that's left. That's not always what people want. Sometimes with a near-death experience, what I was talking about earlier, is you think you've seen this. You think that you've seen the top chamber with a little bit of time left, and then you were saved. So now you're kind of on borrowed time. So spend some time thinking about what this means, to think about life as an hourglass for which you can't see the top chamber. Because what do you do now? How do you handle knowing this? Well, you can't say something like YOLO and only put too much weight on the present. This is called hedonism. If you say, All I know is that I've got this time left. All I know is this is what I got, and therefore I'm going to live like a hedonist and ignore future me. That's kind of akin to robbing from your future self. Future you relies on what you do now in the present. But you also can't do the opposite and say, well, I don't want to be destitute in my old years, so I put too much weight on the future, because then you become Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge is the kind of person who's got all the money he needs, but he refuses to spend it. He refuses to spend it because maybe I might need it in the future, and he's certainly not happy. So the trick, then, is to balance. Find some balance between now and the future. Yes, the future is unknown. Yes, the future is unknowable, but it probably will come. So you need to put some balance on present and future you. You get one life. Live intentionally. Greetings, Derek again. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more, please head to meaning.blog, and there you can learn about all things related to money and mindset and purpose and meaning. And you'll be able to find out how we might be able to work together. You'll find more articles. You'll find links to videos. You'll find online courses, all kinds of things to get you going on your journey towards living more intentionally.